Alright, so a couple little things here, nothing too major. First of all, the saw works great, and I'm very happy with it. If any of you watch my, I think it was my first review video on this saw. I said this top screw here was coming loose. I ended up losing this choke knob. So, I went to the customer service, and eventually this choke lever did show up. And the other part I needed did show up, and I put it back on, and it worked fine. And then it was about a week after that choke lever showed up, I got a package in the mail from Champion. And they sent me this knob, and then it's called a lock wash. It's a little rubbery plastic flat washer that goes with that. And when I was talking to them on the phone, I did say that kept rattling loose, and they never really did anything. Never really told me they're going to do anything about it. So I went through with the parts lady and I ordered the choke lever and the other piece inside. And we never mentioned anything about that. So I don't know if it was just in the report that I said this was coming loose. If they reviewed my call maybe and seen that I was complaining about that and sent it. Maybe it was just a recall thing that everyone got one, or maybe they watched my YouTube channel. I don't know, but whatever it was, they sent me a free one. But after that video, I was using that saw, and this has never came loose again. So maybe there was just some of that oil or something in there, that packing, like shipping oil or something in there. But ever since, it's been fine. So there we go. And the other thing is the carb tune. I think when I set up low speed on this, I kind of didn't really know what I was doing, and don't believe everything you see on YouTube. I followed one guy's advice, and it did help, but I don't think it's right. I think I got the low speed screw cranked way out too far, and I got the idle screw cranked in way too far. So, yeah, I'm just going to go through and retune the carb a bit. So to start, I'm just going to turn my low speed screw. I'm not going to touch the high. I never have touched the high. It seems to be fine. So I'm just going to turn the low screw all the way in, and then out one turn, and then I'm going to back the idle way out. One bad thing about this saw is the curb screws are the single D type, so it's just a round thing with one flat side, so this has to be the right way to fit in. And it's such a pain in the butt to try to get this to line up. It always takes a while. But anyways, I took this off just so I could see in there a bit better. And I seen there's some dirt and crap inside the air filter, so that's a little troubling. It kind of tells me that it's leaking in by here somewhere. The idle screw's backed way out, and the low speed screw is out one turn. And I want to start this without this friggin' screwdriver falling out, because it's a pain in the butt to get back in. Turn it on again would help. Okay, so it doesn't like that. So I want to go quarter, half out on the low. And I know we can give her some idle here. Okay. 1.5 out on the low and a bit more idle. Okay. Another quarter, so we're 1 3/4 out on the low. Just gonna give some idle here. I guess that's it. I turn it in. I turn it out a little bit more, and then it might pick up a little better, but it starts running rough. So I've been playing with it back and forth quite a bit, and I think that's right where it is. I think. So I don't think it's probably not that too far off of where it was originally. Let's see the. This will be the telltale sign. Oh yeah, see that idle screw was only like halfway in before it was almost all the way in, so that's how far I had to have it in before to have it running right. So I think that's it. Kind of lost track of where I was at with the tuning, but whatever. I started in and just kept working out until it started running good. So there we go. I guess we're going to run with that. I think coming up here, there's going to be some more chainsaw cutting videos. So you'll see this thing in action, and maybe I'll try tweaking it a bit more at that time. But until then, shout out to Champion Chainsaw for sending me this part and having good customer service. And I'd recommend them to anybody. So until next time, when you see this thing in action, over and out. Every time. There, the old chain could use a quick touch-up on the filing, but no time. Okay, so those adjustments that I made to my saw actually made it run worse. It's about a month later now probably, and the saw's just been setting. It's been in the back of my truck for over an hour now on the highway. It's about minus 30 Celsius out. So we're going to get it fired up here, and I'll see if we can tweak it a bit better. And then we're going to get it out with some wood and see if we can't get her running good. Again, when I took the cover off this saw, it was all packed full of snow from blowing around snow in the back of my truck. I just brought it inside. It's about minus 30 out. Warm up. So I kind of suspected that. Just because it's so cold out now that it's the cold weather is enough just to lean it out, and now it seems to be running snappy just because of the cold weather. So that's a good thing. It was running a bit rich when it was warm, and it's running good now. So I think I adjusted the low screw a little bit just when I was trying to wiggle the tool in there. Maybe that was enough to do it, but I think it's mostly just because it's extreme cold weather is making the saw snappy like it should be. So let's get her up with some wood. I guess I got a little ahead of myself. I forgot I had to tighten and file this chain here. But we'll be out in the wood in a minute. The rakers didn't need to be done, but I gave them a quick rub anyways while we were indoors here. So the saw's running good. She's sharpened up. She should cut. Let's get her out in the woods. Right before I went to start editing this video, I noticed something that should be noted. I was just working on the saws, cleaning them up, taking a look at them, and I pulled the top cover off the poulin, and the poulin, it's 3 screws to get the top cover off to get to the air filter, where the Champion, it's just that quick 1 screw, get it off. And when I pulled off the covered access air filter on the Champion, there was an alarming amount of sawdust. Like that carburetor was, you couldn't even see the carburetor, it was just packed with sawdust. It was crazy. And then I tried to use the Poulain and the Champion equally. I probably do favor the Champion a bit more just because it's more of a pleasurable saw to operate. But it was crazy. Like, it was just packed with sawdust in and around the carburetor. And then when I took the top cover off the Poulain, and I had the cover off the Champion a few times. The Poulain, I never did anything to it since I bought it. I took the top cover off the Poulain, and the cover and the filter looked brand new. Just had a little spot like blue from some gas squirting out at it. And around the carburetor, the whole thing was just clean, bright, shiny, new. There wasn't a speck of sawdust inside it anywhere. And the Champion was just packed with sawdust. So that might be something to consider. Maybe in the 1-year review or the 2-year review, maybe something's going to present itself because of that. But just thought that would be something to note. So final thoughts, Champion chainsaw. I've had it for about almost 4 months now. Probably cut a few half-ton loads of wood with it. Upon buying that saw, I just did what the average person would do. A friend of mine recently bought a piece of property that had a little bit of a wood lot, and I wanted to cut some firewood so I could put a wood stove in my garage, and I wanted to cut some firewood for him to help him get ready for his next season's firewood. So I opened up the Canadian Tire flyer, and there was a big sale on Champion chainsaws. I didn't even know Champion made chainsaws. But just judging by the fact that they were, I think a well-liked brand. They make good generators that are quite popular, and winches and things. And so I bought it. 2-year warranty, full customer support system. They come with a full manual. Come with this manual here. When you get it, it'll come with a sticker on it, and that's the serial number for your saw. So you go in, you call customer support, and they ask you a few questions, and you register on their system under that serial number for the saw. And if you need any parts and it's still under warranty in that 2 years, you just phone them, tell them what's going on, tell them what you need. They send it. You need you're having a problem you can't figure out, they'll put you on the line with a mechanic. He'll talk to you, and they're all good people that are easy to talk to, and that's good. And in this book, there's a 2-page spread of an exploded view of every part for this saw. And then they're numbered and cataloged, so if you need something, say I need part number, whatever. And then on the next page is a full 2-page spread of every engine part. The whole engine's exploded view and the oil pump and everything. So you can get any part for this saw. So that, to me, that's an advantage over just buying a cheap Amazon saw and hoping for the best. The saw, and you've seen a bit of it, I still, for the life of me, can't get that bog tuned out at the bottom end. It's just a little bit of a hesitation. Aside from cranking that idle screw all the way in and cranking that low speed screw out a whole bunch, aside from that, I try to run it kind of in a normal range. But that's the only gripe I have with the saw. It's very light and nimble. It starts well, it runs well. Once you start that saw, it's running. It's not, you don't got to keep it on high idle and keep it running and installing. Like, once it starts, it's solid. So, I really like it for that. So, I don't want to come off as one of those guys who just comes on YouTube and doesn't know what he's talking about and just starts going on like some kind of pro. I'm a dude, wanted a saw, went to Canadian Tire and bought what was on sale. That's it. And I bought Champion just because I've had good experience with their brand and I think they're a well-liked brand. But in comparison to this Poulain, which is also brand new, I bought it around the same time as the Champion. The Champion, the controls are nicer, more easier accessible. The saw is smaller, lighter. It just seems to run better. It revs out better. It's pretty well better than the Poolin in every way. It actually feels like a legitimate, nice little chainsaw. This feels like kind of it's kind of awkward, kind of clunky, kind of big saw that it works. It's never not worked. It's always started and worked, but it's just like, yeah. The Champion, it's just so light and effortless. No vibration, just so easy to run. It's not tiring. For what it is, it's great. It's pretty much better than this in every single way. Except for this has a bit more torque down low. Right off idle, it doesn't got no bog. You barely push the throttle and that chain's spinning. But then up high, and the high speed screw needed to be adjusted on this Poolin right from the start. So I actually took it to a saw shop and they sat it up for me. So this being sat up by a saw shop on the high end, and this just never touching the high end, the Champion just blows it away. It's just simply better. So I had this out in minus 32 degrees Celsius, and nothing felt cheap like it was going to break. It's just everything worked. Like the primer bulb, it's rubber, and that was pretty stiff, so I was being pretty easy on that. But other than that, it was fine. This Poolin, I fired it up for maybe a couple of minutes, and it used to run good when it was warm out, and then it was just not running out good. There's kind of a dead spot halfway in between on the throttle, and I was like, yeah, maybe it's not liking this cold weather. Before I blow it up, I'm just going to set it aside and not run it. So, yeah, there it is. For what it is, beautiful little saw. And that's all I got. Thank you. And if you're wondering about all this junk on the table, there'll be some videos coming up someday showing you what I was working at. Okay, thank you.